So, do we have anyone who wants to start off with a quick spiritual thought? If not, we'll get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, you know, like
I will say something. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You were more enthusiastic.
Well, just because I'm excited. This Sunday I had to teach Relief Society for the first time in like, I don't know, 8 years. I've been teaching children for the past 8 years. So it was really nice to do that. And my lesson was about enduring to the end. And it really like just put this following week and a half in perspective of, you know, just giving it my all to accomplish my goals. And I think we're all on the same boat where we're all graduating, right? This semester, after the semester, or at least close to the end. And it was nice to get to the end and feel the rewards of all our hard work and our assurance. And I know I couldn't have done any of it without Heavenly Father and without his guidance and his strength to keep me going. So I would like to share that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Take it away, Spence.
Okay, so we are here at the Keurig and Green Mountain Coffee Roaster negotiation, and so I'm actually not sure how to get this started, or who wants to go first, or who wants to.
Well, we can start things up. Would you guys want a cup of coffee?
You know what? I'll pass. I feel like it's an abomination.
The only thing I maybe we could just say in general, set the tone of the negotiation is my understanding of the case is that for Green Mountain suppliers, we're trying to get into the individual personalized cup of coffee distribution. And we come to it realizing that Keurig is the best way for us to do that. That's the best distribution channel. That being said,
correct. We are the best.
And that being said, I think trying to find a partner who is the most prepared to join Keurig as a supplier, as being a coffee supplier, Green Mountain is the best choice. So it's really not about. There are other options for both people, but I think both parties are with the best option in the negotiation. Right. So it's just finding whatever is going to be something that makes us both happy walking out of the room. But I think in terms of the tone of negotiation, it's okay to just assume if we could work with Keurig, that's better than anybody else. And if you guys could work with Green Mountain, that seems better than anybody else as well. Does that make sense?
Have you done negotiations before?
What's that?
You seem like you've done negotiations before.
I watch a lot of Trump videos. It's a good thing if we talk to Russia, right? It's a good thing.
I know that we are the best distributor and you are also the best, and together we can be the best of the best. Everybody
says it.
Everybody knows it. Everybody says it. It is the truth. You are the best. We are the best.
That's right. No, but I don't know. Maybe and that's not even a tactic. That's just my assumption of the case is that It does seem like it's really the best option for both of them. If they can come out with something that works for both, it seems like the best option, right? True North is obviously an option. Dunkin' Donuts is an option, but all of it didn't seem as promising as what they possibly could have with Green Mountain. Same thing with Green Mountain using Keurig. I don't know if there's a better option if it works, but I don't know what your general assumption of that was or how you feel about the negotiation in general. Keurig.
Well, I agree. I think this is the best option.
Go ahead.
I'll go for it. I was going to say, we got to be careful. Lily can play hardball sometimes, but I was going to say, I really think that this is a great opportunity for both of our companies. And I'm sure we can come to a good agreement. From what I understood, it looked like you guys how much were you, if you are willing to share that information, how much are you guys planning on selling your on a per cup basis to the distributors?
Well, I think we're going off the same numbers. If we're talking about 1,500 brewer per line, we're looking at an average company is looking at 34 cups a day of coffee, right?
Right. So would
talking
you be
about-
selling? I mean, would you
you're
be
talking
selling it
about
for like?
13 million something a year.
Oh, I mean, would you be selling it for like 25 cents per cup, or like
30 cents.
to the two
Or,
distributors, or because it looks like it costs you guys about 13 cents or 14 cents to make the cup and distribute it. So like 2 cents to distribute and 12 cups to create it.
Mhm.
And then, so like I know that in the big case study that we all read, it talked about how we'd sell for like 25 cents per cup, and then they would probably sell to the companies for 50 cents. So like essentially, I was just curious how much you guys were planning on selling to the distributors for. If you guys were going to keep to the 25 cents model, or if you were going to do more or less.
Yeah, my understanding was that that those are the numbers we're to go off of. Right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, True North would be a revenue of 23 cents per cup, whereas Green Mountain would be a revenue of 25 cents per cup. So I think you're looking at 3.3 million in revenue for using Green Mountain versus 3,049,000 if it was True North in a year. Should we just give you our baseline negotiation?
Sure.
Go for it.
I hope we're on the same page. That we're not negotiating completely different numbers. That would be kind of funny.
yeah.
Creighton, you can. We need to figure out some kind of a split of the profits. All right, and I think that could also be based off of an equity percentage. So, whatever profit we have can also vary depending on the equity that we can get in Keurig. Also, we'd like to. I think our strongest negotiation is we'd like to create at least a minimum of a 2-year exclusivity partnership. If you go with Green Mountain, and then we're willing to pay. We could be willing to pay some of the ends of the distribution, shipping, processing, if we can get a fair enough equity split and a fair enough split on the profit.
Yeah, because as it stands, we're selling at 25 cents per cup. You guys would stand to be making 11 cents in profit per cup under your business model. And so what we were hoping to do would be to negotiate how much royalties per cup that we would make with you, and with the understanding that we would be able to work together to come to an agreement as to how much we could make in royalties per cup with y'all.
So what do you want in royalties?
Here, Lily, you're good at being hard.
All right, so
go for it.
I'll start from what I was going to say from the beginning. Initially,
Oh.
this was not our original idea, but we have seen this, as you said earlier, as a great option for us to be able to launch our product sooner than later. Therefore, we are willing to come into negotiation with you and come into a partnership. Having that said, obviously, it's necessary for us to make profit. So what we were thinking is to start for the negotiation between 8 to 7 cents per cup royalty, and no exclusive rights.
Okay, so we're basing it off of currently we're making 11 cents per cup, and so you want 8 cents of that 11. What's the math on that? What's the percentage? Let me see. What equity are you willing to give up for that? To me, to take 8 out of 11, if you're taking roughly 70% of the royalty of each cup, then that would be a very high equity we would ask for.
Okay.
How much are you thinking, like equity wise? Like how much? I guess what do you mean by that? We'll get a little clarification of what you're referring to. Where you're going with that?
It's hard to give you a number until we. To me, that's really based off of what we split up
Of
in
the
profit.
percentage of royalty. Okay.
Yeah, so let's say it was a 50-50 royalty
Yeah,
split.
let's go with
right?
that. Mhm.
We could always work from there. If it was a 50-50 royalty split, then if we took 12% equity in the company and gave you 50% of every cup of coffee with a 2-year exclusivity. And the reason we say 2 years is because the case study tells us it's going to take you guys 2 years to get your costs down to being competitive with other suppliers like ourselves, right? Currently, you're at what, 6 cents, and we're at 2, and you're in process
for distributing. Yeah.
So in 2 years from now, you may be more competitive, and at that point, maybe True North would be a better option for you in terms of that. But in the meantime, we'd like to be the main supplier until that becomes an option for you.
In our case, I believe the purpose of coming out to Green Mountain and negotiating is to be able to open the window for other vendors. Therefore, why would we want an exclusive right with you? I'm not sold on that.
We're just putting all the cards on the table.
Yeah. So no, that makes sense to me. But to me, if you're using us to be able to open the window to use other people, that's fine as long as we have a super nice.
I'm willing to negotiate for the first year. I mean, but 2 year, that's a parameter that puts us on a bind for 2 years. I'm willing to say, okay, 1 year exclusive rights, 10% equity, and 50-50 on royalty per cup.
That's a good.
I'd be down with that too.
That's a good starting point. I think we can talk about that. I think to me, your comment to me is telling, and I think it's probably true. Using Green Mountain is a good launching pad for you to be able to eventually use other suppliers as well.
But I think we benefit each other in that sense. You're looking to grow your market in the area that we want to bring individual cups of coffee to people, and you're going to get your name out there for a whole year, exclusive rights with our product, and that's going to open a lot of window for you as much as it is for us.
Sure. I do think in terms of the name, we kind of come with a little bit more advantage. Green Mountain has a little bit more advantage in terms of being a well-known product already. If we feel like we're getting a good equity off of you starting to use other brands than just ours, then I'm totally willing to lower the amount of time that you're just going exclusive with us. So you're saying a year, 10% equity and 50-50 split on royalties?
Yep. So 5.5 cents per cup royalties, 10% split, 1 year exclusivity.
Because think about it. Yeah, you have a well-known name in a bulk sense, not an individual brewing of a cup or, that individual office space. So you're gonna open up a client base that you've been looking to market into, and we're going to partner up with you on that for the first year and be exclusive. Obviously, you want us to be able to open up and have more equity and gains from bringing on other brand names. Therefore, I feel like it's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree. That's a win-win. You bring on other brand names for us. They're going to be riding.
You're going to have equity. Why wouldn't it be a win-win?
Off of our success, and so that's why I'm concerned about just doing 1 year. We're the ones that are investing in this, and then we're going to have some people after 1 year jump on and follow. We're the trailblazers. They're gonna take the profits from it. So 1 year is really, really tight for us. I think we need to have 2 years in there to be able to allow us to be able to generate some profits from this investment.
So what if we did this? We could either go to a 1.5 year equity, meet in the middle. Excuse me, not equity, but a 1.5 year exclusivity partnership, meet in the middle there. Or if you wanted to stick with a year, then the royalties change as soon as we're not exclusive. We're 50-50 as long as we're exclusive. If you want to go less than a 1.5 years, then the royalties change to 60-40 in our favor for any cup of Green Mountain coffee sold.
Let's
So
see.
that would put us at like 4 cents per cup.
Yeah. Be a 60-40 split, but then you could use other partners and we'd still keep the 10% equity. But that would allow us to feel more comfortable about you using other distributors earlier than 2 years. Because we
And
feel
that's
like 2
when
years is strong
we
for us.
decide to bring on other. I mean, who's to say we won't and how long it will take us? I just don't want to close the door to that possibility on bringing on different
Yeah,
brands.
this deal's just to allow you to keep the door open.
Exactly. And that's what I want. I don't want to
So,
be
yeah, that's
tied
fine.
down. Just
If as soon as the exclusivity ends, then the royalties go up 60-40, and
So
the
we'd be
equity
going
stays the
from-
same.
So I just did some quick numbers. So that would be, we'd be going from 5.5 cents per cup royalties to 4.4 cents per cup royalties.
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't want to be the only one to negotiate here, so I want to hear what my partnership has to say on this.
I agree with that to an extent. I would rather just call it a flat or just do it at 4.6 cents. Like, I know it may seem like a little bit, but I feel like it could be good in the long run. At 4.6 cents per cup, that would be, let's see, I'm going to be the numbers guy in the negotiations. You know what I'm talking about. So that would be, essentially, that would be a 42.58% equity, or not equity, but royalties. So, like, I think
in your
it's probably
favor?
50. No, in your favor. So that'll be
Okay.
50-50 up until the point that we leave the exclusivity, and then we go to a 42%, 58%. If that's all right with my colleagues in this case, that would be putting us at 4.6 cents per cup royalties as opposed to 5.5 at before royalties. And so I feel like that would be very beneficial to both of us. So it would be 1 year exclusivity with the 50-50 until exclusivity ends, and then 10% equity. Even though I will say this, the fact that you're planning on taking some equity into our business, I mean, from your point of view, I would want us to be successful in finding other clients in the way that our business would grow and protect our, and yes, it is against you, but also your shares in the company would grow. It may seem like on the one hand you're losing money, but it would balance out on the other side with your investment growing as well.
No, I think you're right. I think you're thinking long term, right? For us, that is a long term option. I think having exclusivity in the beginning allows us to really start dominating, marketing a strong brand on individual cups of coffee that is in a strong partnership with a great distributor, such as Keurig, right? But at that point where you then become a household name, and so do we, then if you want to bring on other people, that's fine. We're getting 10% equity in the company, and you're right, that is great for us. But I think having a strong partnership between both of us for at least a year, I personally think 2 years, but I'm okay with negotiating that. It's really beneficial to both of us versus trying to bring on Dunkin' Donuts and all these other things, because the other problem is we feel strong in our brand. So we feel like we have a better brand than a lot of other people. So we feel confident that when people go to a Keurig machine and drink Green Mountain coffee, it's only going to make Keurig look better. We don't necessarily have that trust in every brand that you might do a partnership with down the road. So that's why it's important for us to have that now. So I think, I don't know, Cretan, you can, without us being able to do it in a group, but I think if we did an exclusivity for a year, we then switched to the 58% 42 split, kept the 10% equity. I'm okay with that deal.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Cool.
We got a deal. Handshake.
Oh, look who just joined the call.
Oh,
Wow.
You just
Nikki,
we just saw the deal. Nick.
we just shook hands on it, so I'm sure that you are on your side.
My
fact,
decision is whatever Russell said.
I have no doubt, Nikki, that you would have been very marvelous adversary, but it's too late now.
Nick did not want to be a part of these negotiations because it was against the word of wisdom.
Absolutely. Love the company.
Guys, I'm going to talk to my bishop about the position that BYU put me in selling coffee products. I just feel uncomfortable with this whole thing.
I am so sorry, you guys. I just was completely confused tonight. I screwed up my other meeting. I screwed up this meeting. It's been apparently, I have not got much sleep this week, so I'm sorry for
I think we can do a beneficial deal for everybody.
Yeah.
I think so too.
You want to hear it, Nikki, and you can give us your opinion? We're not changing it, though.
That's
No.
Good for him.
I had
don't have the
to.
energy for you to start over. I'm sure you don't have the energy, so.
We agreed to a 50-50 split in profits for the first year with exclusive rights partnership, and a 10% equity. And then after a year, that moves to us having a 58% share of the profits. The only thing we lose after a year is exclusive rights with the company, but we retain 10% equity.
Okay.
I can see in your mind that you have ideas, but it's too late now. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I think you guys did good.
Don't worry, I still have no idea what's going on.
That's probably more than I would have expected for us. So good job.
It's more than I expected to, honestly, so we're good.
Yeah,
more than
I was
expected
not
for us.
willing to. Yeah, I wasn't willing to give any equity at all, but I was like, all right, I'm not going to fight it.
Beat you down, huh?
That's
I
kind of
gave
how
in.
I was too. I was like, I really didn't want to give you guys any equity or even any exclusivity, but I was like, whatever.
All
These chips
right.
are really good, so.
You're
I
good.
was willing to pay you guys to end the negotiations early. So yeah.
Yeah. When you're strongest negotiators on the East Coast and it's 11 o'clock, that's a problem for you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I say, bottom line, I will buy Green Mountain for $1 million right now. Sign it.
Oh my
You are
gosh.
all the best.
100% equity goes to me.
So do we have to fill anything out now as a group or just that?
Yes, I think we have a
Let's see,
group
there's a
assignment.
few,
We're supposed
there's a
to
few
write out.
questions about like our stakes and stuff in it, but anyway.
Well, we are supposed to write a brief like paper of what we agreed to. And you put it out.
Yeah, so like Spencer's supposed to submit the group assignment. I mean, aside
What
from
was
that,
the tone of our negotiation? I think it was
I
passive.
think it was lighthearted but intense.
I think both parties saw value in each other.
Yes, we're both the best. That's funny.
Yes, we are both the very best of the best of the best. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the tone of our negotiations? So we saw value in each other. What are some other things that kind of stood out?
I feel like we both wanted what we wanted, but we also desired it to be a win-win situation. Like I didn't come into this meeting thinking, how can I annihilate Green? Well, maybe I did, but I changed my mindset really early on. That I felt like we were all looking out for each other's best interests.
Yeah, nobody came in with like ridiculous. At least I don't think. Maybe Lily with the 10% feel so, but no, nobody. I don't think came in with ridiculous expectations of winning.
I was
like Lily, like with 10 cents royalties for the 11 cents profit there.
Hey, I had to try. What? Come on. I wouldn't be doing my job as a business person without trying to rip you off a little bit.
You like
Wow.
literally started at zero. Like, all right, we'll give 10 cents of each cup of your own coffee, no equity, and no exclusivity.
I know that was rough.
And
Yeah.
you're gonna like it, you know. And you're gonna thank me for it. Trust me.
Oh, that was funny. Well, at least you
It was
didn't
worth a
laugh
try.
at me when I said it.
It was
Yeah.
worth a try.
You were like, I don't think so.
when Sean immediately started talking about doing exclusivity, we were talking in our pre-meeting that we didn't want
Like,
to do.
no.
We're like, no, that's a non.
And I'm just like, oh great, like here it comes, like.
Funny thing is, I don't know that I cared that much about exclusivity, but like, and I don't even know what I just BS my way through it. Like you're like, oh, it's such a value to both of us. Like, whatever.
It's okay. I mean,
And that,
The tone
These
is real
negotiations are
darker
over.
as we go on.
Yeah.
turns out we couldn't see the devil behind each other's eyes.
That's right.
Well, I think that obviously I missed the whole negotiation, but I think that the 1 year, I mean, I think that is actually pretty reasonable on both sides. I think that was
so.
a pretty good agreement to come to. And I know, I apologize. I know I wasn't here, but I got the impression from both sides that their walkaway point was going to be pretty high. Like I felt like there was really a lot of benefit for both sides here. So I felt like the negotiations were probably going to go pretty well because I think both sides had a lot to gain from it, you know? So I think definitely that walkaway value for them was going to be, you know, pretty high. I think that it would have had to go extremely poorly for either side to just walk away from it.
Yeah.
agreed.
All right, Spencer, what other things do we need to know? Sorry.
So I'm kind of working on a question right now. It's what actions did your counterparty take that were particularly effective? And so I basically said that we just talked about our interests at the beginning and how we could build off each other in the future. And then I also mentioned that we used our relationship with each other to come to a good deal.
Nice.
So it also asked, did you walk through a per cup economic analysis?
Yes, we did.
Yep, we did. Because it would cost you guys 14 cents per cup to make it. It would cost us 19 cents per cup. Yeah. When it comes, if we're including
10 cents per cup.
She wanted 10 cents per cup. She wanted, like, in our pre-meeting, she's like, I say we go in with 10 cents per cup. And I'm just like, I don't think you want to antagonize them, like, right off the bat. I feel like that might make things right.
I was like, yeah, I know. I could be pretty aggressive. Unrealistic.
Let's see, we're making what, 25 cents per cup? So we would end up with 13 cents per cup.
Well, so you're making about, you guys are making about 11 cents per cup because, like, if you count how much it costs to make it and everything. So profit-wise.
So it would cost Green Mountain Coffee Roasters 14 cents per cup, and then it cost Keurig how much again?
19.
Okay. Okay, and then what major point of disagreement did we encounter during the negotiation?
Basically, it was over exclusivity. That was probably our biggest.
Yeah.
Our biggest loss. Yeah, we all started throwing down, and we started playing a game of poker, and we're like, tell you what, all aces, exclusivity for 3 years. Right?
Well, I think that we did have probably our second one, and very briefly, was just equity, but I think all of us kind of saw value in teeter-tottering, equity against profit per cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question is how did you view Keurig's position?
That's an interesting question. I felt like I viewed our position as very good and reasonable and full of happiness and the stuff of legends. I don't know. That's a weird question.
Well, I actually wrote something down on that already because just going into it, I wrote that I felt like Keurig's position was they're coming in as the best option for personalized cup distribution. You know, especially for these small offices. Not that there weren't others, but they were really going, you know, they were a great option for it. But their position also was that they knew their cost per cup through True North was higher than what they could get. So their advantage was that they had a great distribution channel. Their disadvantage was that their individual cost per cup was not where they wanted it to be, that they needed to have some flexibility to make a deal with another distributor like Green Mountain, at least for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And that would then be just the opposite for Green Mountain. Great brand, very recognizable, but they obviously need a distributor for their personalized cups of coffee. So their disadvantage is that they are not their own distributor of personalized cups. They don't have a machine to do that, but they have a well-known, recognizable brand. So that was their advantage and disadvantage, in my opinion.
I agree. We had the technology. You guys had the face. It's like that song, you know, you got the looks, we got the brains. Let's make lots of money. You know that song? That's pretty much what it is.
Well, I thought it was interesting that they not only saw the opportunity to, I thought it was interesting that they saw opportunity in increasing the reach of their brand, like getting into other states where they weren't currently distributing, because that's huge. And also, dang it, there was one other thing and I've forgotten what it was.
Me too.
But I think that it was interesting to me that they saw not only the potential in like kind of adding a new product to their market, but also that I remember what it was. It was gaining new customers because they were experiencing their coffee in a different way. So they were like, hey, this could introduce our brand to new users, not only in different locations, but because they would be trying it like in the office or something, which might cause them to go buy our brand off the shelf of the store, which they would never otherwise. So I thought that really Green Mountain had a lot more to gain from this than probably they were going to let Keurig in on. I think there was a bigger upside for Green Mountain than probably was realized, which I think gave them a pretty powerful stance to go into the negotiation with. I don't know if I told you guys that on yours, or was that just in ours? Anyway, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So Green Mountain Coffee Roasters has a lot to gain off the deal. And then what else?
Let's go to the next questions.
So the next question is, how important is it to Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, like this negotiation or this deal?
Sounds like it was pretty important. I wish I'd realized how important it prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, there was more advantages on the Green Mountain side than was necessarily realized at face value. At least for me, when I read the case study, I wouldn't have considered those couple things right off the bat. So I think they had more upsides, definitely. I mean, I think that Keurig needed them. I think that they're a great partner. I think both companies were benefited by working together. But I think that Green Mountain definitely had a few different upsides to partnering with them.
So this next question is a little weird. So it says, what is the maximum value that could be shared between Green Mountain Coffee Roasters and Keurig?
I don't even know how to answer that.
Well, wouldn't that be just in terms of, are they asking in terms of revenue?
It just says, what is the maximum value that could be shared?
100%.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, we could give you all of our company. You could give us all of yours. That's probably the maximum.
I think if you're looking in terms of the value, if you're basing it off of who generates the most revenue per cup, it would be 3.3 million. And that's what Keurig would, that's Keurig's revenue. If you're saying 1,500 systems is what Keurig, that's Green Mountain's revenue per cup. If they were to be exclusive with Green Mountain through all 1,500 of their machines, that usually average 34 cups per day.
Okay. So how much was that revenue again? Sorry.
3,315,000. I don't know if that's the number they're looking for, but that's what the revenue would be. That's the highest amount of revenue. Because if they use True North, it would be 3,049,000.
And this is what Keurig will be making, right? Just to make sure.
That's just the shared value. That's the, in answer to that question, what's the amount of value that could be shared between the two? It's 3.3 million per year.
Okay.
I may be way off on that, but it makes sense to me, which means I'm probably way off on it.
Sounds good to me.
I think I'd be like, which probably means I'm right, So
If it makes sense to me, everyone should be worried.
I've been struggling. I've been struggling big time with this case, so
I'm glad I wasn't in charge this week, Spencer. Good job.
Next time you can be.
No, next time.
It's funny because there isn't one.
So the next question is how much does Keurig earn under True North? I think Sean just answered that one. So what was it?
3,049,800.
3,049,800.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's Keurig's walk away? Like before we met or just in general?
So our walkway was, we decided that if we ended up getting whittled down to 3 cents for royalties per cup, and you guys wanted to go lower than that, then we wouldn't agree to that. Like we said, we would walk on that.
What was it?
3 cents royalties per cup. Yeah, and that would be like with no other perks like whatsoever, just 3 cents. Yeah. They're just like, no, that wouldn't be cool.
So what is Green Mountain Coffee Roasters walkaway price or walkaway?
We didn't talk about it beforehand, but for me, I think the big walkaway would have been if there would have been no exclusivity agreement for the first year for any amount of time.
I felt like exclusivity and also getting some equity. Well, that was, to me, the equity. The equity was important, but the amount of it was just based on what the royalties were going to be.
I think the exclusivity is definitely key, though, because without that, you're putting a lot of investment into that company, and what are you getting out of it? So, you could invest a bunch into this company, and then somebody else, walks away with all the rewards. So, I think that definitely would be a key walkaway point.
And then, so how did we come up with those values?
We prayed about it.
Just do it. Just say it. Let's find out if he actually reads it.
We prayed about these numbers. Do you really want me to say that? Because I will.
No, I don't care.
No, it's probably not ideal.
I think your values were just based off of 1,500 brewers per line, 34 cups brewed per day, and 260 work days in a year.
So it was 1,500 brewers
per distribution line, yeah.
Okay.
Per line. 34 cups per day brewed, and 260 work days a year.
Man, way to come in with all the calculations, Sean.
No, seriously. I thought I had some good calculations, but then you'd spouting this stuff off, and I'm just like, I don't know if he's making this up or not. It's awesome. I'm just kidding.
For some reason, I feel like Sean gets paid the big bucks at his job.
Can you send me the recording of this so I can show that part to my managers? I'm horrible at negotiations. I just walked away from Tire-Rama with $1,100 bill, and my car's still not fixed.
Oh my gosh.
Tell him to call Russell.
Wow.
Seriously.
Pardon?
I said, tell him to call Russell. He'll take care of it for you.
You fix cars, Russell.
So what you're telling me is that you are making my client Sean pay $1,100 for a piece of garbage that you didn't even fix? This is disgraceful. You're gonna hear from my lawyer's lawyer.
My lawyers.
I would never allow my husband to come home with that bill and no car fixed. Let's just say that.
The funny thing was, it's like, I think it's really based on like 47 cups of coffee per day, but a lot of those were being thrown out because they didn't like the way they were being made. So I think the average of actual cups drank was 34.
Yeah.
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 Which is nice because like that would be a selling point to other companies. It's like, look, you're actually saving money on coffee by buying better coffee.
And someone won't stand there for a half hour each day.
Yeah. Wait,
Getting
rinse out the
paid
cups.
$15 an hour.
Like, yeah.
What is Zupa? Somebody emailed me that. There's some kid in our class who keeps emailing me, and I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I get him too.
He
Yeah,
said,
me
"What is
too.
Zupa? It sounds like something good to eat."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
just
sounds like a restaurant.
It
Yeah, I
is a
haven't-
restaurant.
So, yeah. So what is the Zupa here in our case? Do they mean
So I feel like I don't know because when we both came in, you guys seem more focused on an overall annual royalties for us, and we were focused more on a per cup thing. I'd say though, roughly our zone of possible agreement is I doubt you guys would have gone for more than 6 cents per cup. I doubt, or something like that, and we wouldn't go less than 3.
That sounds
Yeah, I
about
think
right.
so.
Yeah.
So royalty of the per cup value is where we zone to negotiate.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
And then I mean, we didn't really talk about it as a group beforehand, but with the exclusivity, we were thinking that we didn't really want one, but as soon as we got negotiating, it seemed like we were negotiating between like 1 and 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys brought up some good points, and we just decided it wasn't worth fighting you over it. So we're just like, sure. Yeah, 1 year. But not 2. That's too much.
I thought it was fair.
In reality, I think 1 is almost worthless. I really, I think I'd be curious to see, what sort of exclusivity agreement they actually came up with, because I bet you it would have been like 5. 1's really not going to buy them that much. 1's almost as bad as I think.
to
In
me,
that
I
case,
think,
we should go for none.
yeah, to me, like the only thing that made dropping down below 2 worth it was the fact that you were giving us 10% equity in your company, and that you were also jumping from 50-50 split to a 58-42 split. So, yeah, it was totally worth it. for us
That's
to
what
drop
made
down
it
to 1.
overall fair. I agree.
So even once they open it up for other brands, if it's successful, you're still getting some revenue from that.
Still getting 10%. Yeah.
Okay. So how big of a deal is exclusivity to both parties?
it's a big deal to both of us in one way or another. Like, we wanted to be free like a bird, and you guys wanted to shackle us down like a man, you know? But, you know, we found a way to be and, you know, find some middle ground.
I think it's very important because on one hand, Keurig gets, they get Green Mountain to go out and do a lot of work for them, right? So they're basically able to stay out of the distribution side of things, which is what they know that they're not good at. And on the other hand, Green Mountain, who, hey, we can go ahead and invest in this because we know that we're gonna be able to use it exclusively. So I think that was probably the biggest factor in finding value on both sides was with the exclusivity.
Yeah, the value of exclusivity to you guys was 8%, right? Because you were willing to lose 8% of your royalties to not be exclusive with us, and that wasn't a short-term deal. Originally, I thought that would be short-term. So you know, you lose 8% after year one on every cup of Green Mountain sold. And then when you figure 10% equity on top of that,
that's true.
I feel happy.
I was gonna say, I actually feel like crying now. I feel like something terrible has happened.
Well, it doesn't sound like you guys missed me at all, so.
I was thinking, Nikki, you were probably thinking, I'm going to come into this thing and just be like, Sean gave away everything so he could just quit this class.
He just wants to go golfing. He's just ready to go golfing.
Yes.
That's true.
When is the golfing submit my final? I can ask you that question later. Sorry, I'll wait till we're not recording.
Week and Friday, 27th.
So the last question is, before we start into the group question, it's have we captured a complete picture of both parties' interests?
I think we have.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Saying per group consensus, yes. Okay, so for our group assignment, we are supposed to develop a list of key items you need to prepare for a tough negotiation, and then we just have to submit it to our instructor.
Key items for a tough negotiation. I feel like you do need to know your BATNA. You got to know your Zupa, and you got to know your PETA. Just kidding. Okay, definitely yes to the BATNA and Zupa. You got to know where you can make concessions and what's most important to you, and you also got to know the other side and probably try to figure out what's most important to them as well. Like, what value can you offer them that nobody else can offer them, and so that they can see the value of seeing things your way a little bit. And that's all I've got to say about that.
That sounds good.
Nobody's gonna add anything.
No
pressure.
That's all I've got to say about that too.
So you need to know your BATNA, your ZOPA, and then the value that you can offer the other company. What else did you say, Russell? Sorry, I was typing.
Oh, I don't know. It was all just inspiration. I feel like it's gone now. Let's see. So BATNA, Zupa, you got to know basically what you can offer the other company and that nobody else can offer, so that they can kind of see why it's so important to go with you and maybe understand where your position is coming from. You got to understand the other guy's values as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think, like, when Donald Trump goes into a negotiation, he's like, what's our BATNA on this? What's our Zupa? Do you think they even use those words?
I don't know. I just like to imagine him getting ready for negotiation, being like, okay, how much can we lose on this deal? Answer me now. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're going to do this. Go. I don't know. It's just fun to really imagine.
I just wonder how many people are like, let's discuss our Zupa.
And then they pull out a sandwich.
Probably more than you would.
Yeah, maybe so. All I
Yeah,
know
I
is
do.
we totally rocked that negotiation. I didn't even read that thing about Batnas and Zupas.
Careful, we're still recording.
Still recording.
That's all right. That's okay.
But no, like I do feel like it's probably used quite a bit more in business, and I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump knew what a Batna and a Zupa was outside of the restaurant industry.
Well, I mean, the text it came from is a pretty popular book, so
It's true.
I'm sure even if they don't use it on a regular basis, they know what they are.
Or even if they just call it by a different name.
Yeah.
Because because you got to know what you can afford to lose on the deal, and you got to know like the minimum that you're willing to gain. Like you can't go in there and you got to know how much you have to get in order for the deal to be worthwhile at all.
Yeah.
My whole Word doc just shut down. Oh, there it is. Thank goodness.
I think you have to be able to kind of have an idea of what a win-win scenario is for both sides. Otherwise, you're just going to waste time.
I think that's the thing Donald Trump touts a lot is the walk away point. Like
That's true.
he knows where he wants to walk away and that he's okay to do it. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm just saying it seems like he touts that a lot, that he's willing to walk away from you.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're done. If anyone else has any other things that
I do have a question, but I'll ask after we're done recording. So.
Okay. I hope I did everything. I mean, I just took some notes as we talked about the summary, kind of for everyone if we want it, and then also I wrote down the ideas that we had for what we need to prepare for a tough negotiation. So I think, I honestly think that's
I
it.
would also like to say I was just kidding about not reading certain things in class. I've read everything.
You gave that a little more thought there for a minute.
I loved it all.
You read
Back to
every
memory.
word, right, Sean?
He memorized it. Back.
The food here is good. They're treating me well.
Oh man. Okay.
Are we supposed to do a summary as well? Does it say that we have to do a summary?
Outside of our individual prep, I don't think we're supposed to. It didn't say
Okay.
anything.
I thought the assignment said we had to timestamp the summary. I just want to make sure we didn't miss that if we had to.
Yeah, I was going to go back and do that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Before I turn it in. I really just want to listen to Sean's Donald Trump impressions again.
Yes, one more time, please, Sean. And then Creighton has to give us an overview.
Total fake news.
What?
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're fake news. You're fake news. That's more like my impersonation of Jimmy Fallon's impersonation of Donald Trump.
Yeah, close enough.
Still entertaining.
So, okay. I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast then.